Hey everyone, and welcome to another Deep Dive. Today, we're exploring the career of Rihanna, but we're going beyond just the hits. We're going to see how she transformed, from a Barbados island girl to this global icon. Like, she's everywhere. Music, business, even philanthropy.
Yeah, it's really fascinating. She's built a brand that goes so far beyond just one industry.
Absolutely. And we've got a lot to cover today. Articles breaking down her music. We've got deep dives into the success of Fenty Beauty and reports on her work with the Clara Lionel Foundation.
It's amazing how she's brought all of this together. The music, the business, the social impact. It's like a single platform. It's more than just a bunch of achievements. It's a whole strategy.
Okay, so let's rewind a little. She burst onto the scene with this infectious island vibe, but her sound evolved so quickly. She's experimenting with everything, like pop, dubstep, you even hear those rock influences. Plus, she's collaborating with, Kanye West and Eminem, and of course, the Grammys start rolling in.
And it wasn't just the music that was changing. Her image was transforming right alongside it. Always pushing boundaries, challenging what people expected. Remember Rated R? That was huge. It showed a whole new side of her, vulnerable but strong.
Oh yeah, Rated R was definitely a turning point, a new era for Rihanna. And that constant evolution, that drive to keep growing and changing, that's really a hallmark of her whole career. Think about it. From Def Jam to Rock Nation, and then launching her own label, Westbury Road Entertainment, she's always been about taking control, creatively and, business-wise.
And that control is what makes her jump into entrepreneurship so interesting. It wasn't just, slapping her name on something. She disrupted the whole beauty industry with Fenty Beauty. Remember when she launched with 40 foundation shades? That was revolutionary.
Yeah, inclusivity was basically baked into the brand from the very beginning. A direct challenge to the way things had always been done. And it spoke to so many people who felt ignored by the traditional beauty world.
And it wasn't just the product, it was the marketing. The way Fenty Beauty uses social media is incredible. Building a community, tons of engagement. It's like the textbook example of how to build a brand that really connects with people.
And people are loyal. Fenty Beauty customers spend over $470 on average every year. That's more than brands like Kat Von D or Kylie Cosmetics. People aren't just buying makeup, they're buying into her whole vision, her values.
Exactly. And that vision goes way beyond beauty, right? She's got the Fenty line with LVMH, the lingerie line savagexfenty, another example of shaking things up.
Those savagexfenty runway shows are insane. They're all about body positivity and diversity. It's bold, it's unapologetic, and it's so powerful.
Yeah, it's like reclaiming what lingerie is supposed to be, moving away from those hypersexualized, exclusive images we're used to. Just another way she uses her platform to advocate for real change.
And that brings us to the Clara Lionel Foundation, named after her grandparents. So it's personal. It started with healthcare in Barbados,
Right.
But it's grown to climate justice and making the Caribbean more resilient.
It's interesting how she connects everything. She understands that climate change hits marginalized communities the hardest, especially in the Caribbean. So it makes sense she's focusing on building resilience, fighting for climate justice.
And it's not just about donating money. It's about giving power to local communities, especially those led by women, youth, LGBTQ plus folks, people of color, letting them drive real change.
And she's using that massive social media following, over 100 million on Twitter, over 130 million on Instagram, to get these issues out there, push for action. She's become a major voice in the whole climate justice movement.
Right. And she's been huge for COVID-19 relief, too, donating millions, pushing for access to healthcare and resources. Her actions show a real commitment to making a tangible difference in the world.
It's important to see that, her philanthropy isn't some separate thing. It's tied into everything she does, her values, her brand. She's using her influence, her resources to create real positive impact globally.
Seriously impressive. But it's not all serious, is it? We got to talk about the acting, too. Cameos, starring roles in movies like Battleship, Home, Ocean's 8. She can hold her own on the big screen, for sure.
I thought she was great as Marion Crane in Bates Motel, showed she can play these complex characters. And, let's not forget the Super Bowl halftime show, just casually announcing her second pregnancy to the world. What a moment.
Yeah, who else could pull that off? Peak Rihanna.
Right.
Confident, creative, completely owning the stage.
Shows how well she understands spectacle, how to use it. She controls the narrative, creates these moments everyone remembers. She's amazing at that.
Speaking of controlling the narrative, what about her business skills? What can we learn from, how she markets herself?
One of the biggest things is authenticity. She's super involved in every part of her brands. And you can tell, you can feel that genuine passion. Consumers aren't dumb. They can tell when someone really cares, and that builds trust and loyalty.
And she's not scared to take risks, push those boundaries, whether it's launching makeup with 40 shades or a lingerie show that celebrates every body type. She's constantly challenging the status quo.
And that's crucial today. People are looking for brands that reflect their values, and she's not afraid to stand up for things like inclusivity, diversity, social justice.
And she's a pro at using social media to connect with fans on a personal level. It's not just promoting products, it's sharing her life, her thoughts, her passions. You really feel a connection.
Her social media is like a masterclass in building a community. It's not just broadcasting, it's about dialogue, listening to her audience, making people feel seen and heard.
And it's definitely working. Her engagement rates are through the roof, and her fans are, super loyal. They're invested in her, in her success, in her mission.
Exactly. It shows you the power of building a brand that's bigger than just, products or services. It's about a movement, a community, shared values that people want to be a part of.
Okay, we've covered a lot here, from her music evolving to her businesses to her philanthropy. But I'm curious, what stands out to you as the most remarkable part of her journey?
For me, it's her commitment to being real, to being authentic. Like everything she does, the music, the businesses, even the philanthropy, it's got her personality, her values woven right in. That's why she's so relatable and inspiring. She's shown everyone you can be incredibly successful and still be yourself.
Yeah, that's so true. It's easy to feel pressure to conform, especially in music or fashion, but she's always done things her own way. And that sends a powerful message.
It resonates, worldwide. People connect with her because of her talent, sure, but also because of who she is deep down. Authentic, fearless, dedicated to making a real difference.
Okay, so we've established Rihanna is pretty amazing. But let's dig deeper into, her journey as an entrepreneur. We've talked about Fenty Beauty, savagexfenty. What else can we learn from how she approaches business?
One big thing is her understanding of her audience. She knows exactly who she's talking to, so her brands and her messages, they resonate authentically.
Right. She's not trying to be everything to everyone. She's laser focused on those specific connections, and it's clearly working.
Absolutely. And she's not afraid to disrupt those established industries. Fenty Beauty, savagexfenty, they challenged how things were done and offered something new and exciting.
Yeah, it's not just about the products, it's the whole experience. Those savagexfenty shows, they're not just about lingerie, right? They're about celebrating diversity, inclusivity, body positivity.
Exactly. It's about creating a movement, a feeling of belonging that so many brands struggle with. They focus so much on selling that they forget about connecting with their customers on that emotional level.
And Rihanna gets that people want to feel seen, feel heard. And her brands do just that. She's got the authenticity, the vision, the community building skills. What else would you add to this, recipe for entrepreneurial success?
I'd say her partnerships. Look at the Fenty line with LVMH, or her deal with Puma for the Fenty X Puma line. She chooses partners who share her vision and help her reach new people.
It's not just putting her name on something. It's finding the right people to bring those ideas to life, make something truly unique.
And she's not afraid to walk away from a partnership that's not working anymore. Remember when she put the Fenty fashion line on hold with LVMH? That was a bold move.
Definitely shows she's not afraid of tough decisions, even with big names, and prioritizing her own vision.
It's a good reminder that even the most successful entrepreneurs have to adapt.
We've talked about her journey as an entrepreneur, her impact on music, philanthropy, even acting. It's clear she's multi-talented, but let's talk about her connection to her Caribbean heritage. How has that influenced her work?
It's deeply embedded in everything, her music, her style, her whole persona. It's something she's proud of, and she celebrates it.
You definitely hear it in the music. Early hits like Pon de Replay, but also the dancehall and reggae influences in her later work. Those Caribbean roots shine through.
And it's in her fashion, too, the vibrant colors, the bold silhouettes. It's a beautiful way to share her culture with the world.
And her work with the Clara Lionel Foundation, focusing on the Caribbean, healthcare, education, climate resilience, shows a real commitment to giving back to her community.
Yeah, her efforts on climate justice in the Caribbean are really something. Raising awareness about the impact climate change has on island nations, pushing for solutions that help the most vulnerable communities.
It's a testament to using her platform for good. She's not just a celebrity, she's a role model, an inspiration, a true force for good.
And she never forgets where she came from. Her success hasn't separated her from her roots. It's actually given her a bigger platform to amplify the voices and concerns of her community.
Okay, we've talked about her Caribbean heritage, her philanthropy, business ventures, and the music. But there's another piece we got to explore. Her connection with her fans. How has she built such a loyal following?
It's pretty special. She's super active on social media, interacting directly, sharing personal stories, even responding to comments. That kind of access, that authenticity, it makes people feel like they have a real connection with her.
It's not just her broadcasting out either. She engages with them, listens to feedback, makes them feel like they're part of something.
And her fans are fiercely loyal. They celebrate her wins, defend her against criticism, always support her new projects.
Really shows the power of building real relationships with your audience. She's not just selling them things, she's building a community, a movement, a shared identity.
And that's so valuable today. People are craving connection, authenticity, a sense of belonging, and she's created that through her work and how she interacts with her fans.
So we've talked about her fans, her heritage, her philanthropy, her entrepreneurial journey. But I keep coming back to this. What's the secret to her success? How has she done so well across so many different things?
I think it's that she believes in herself and her vision completely. She's not afraid to take risks, challenge the way things are done, push boundaries. Plus, she's driven, hardworking, always wants to do her best.
And she's not doing it all alone. She's built a team of talented people who share that vision and help bring those ideas to life. She's a leader, she collaborates, she delegates effectively.
And she's never complacent, always looking for new ways to grow, to evolve, to challenge herself. She doesn't just sit back. She keeps pushing forward, exploring new things, expanding everything she's built.
Plus, she's smart about branding and marketing. She gets the power of storytelling, visuals, social media, and she uses all of that to connect with her audience, build her brand.
And through it all, she stays true to herself, never compromises her authenticity or her values, and that's what makes her so relatable and inspiring.
So we've got some key ingredients here. Self-belief, hard work, smart partnerships, a great team, willingness to take risks, understanding your audience. But there's one more thing I think is huge, her ability to connect emotionally.
Totally. She's got this emotional intelligence, she taps into what people want, their aspirations, even their insecurities, and she uses that to create brands, experiences that really resonate.
It's not just selling products, it's selling those emotions, that feeling of confidence, empowerment, inclusivity, belonging.
Exactly. People don't just buy things, they buy those feelings, what those products make them feel.
So in a way, she's a master of emotions, right? But not in a bad way. She's using this understanding of people to create positive change, empower people, build a more inclusive world.
And she does it all while being entertaining. Her music is catchy, her videos are amazing to watch, she's electrifying on stage, she's a true artist.
Okay, we've explored this incredible journey, from musician to businesswoman to philanthropist to global icon. We've broken down her marketing, her businesses, her impact on music, her connection to her heritage, her relationship with her fans. But before we wrap up, I want to zoom in on one thing, something I find fascinating. Her move into high fashion with Fenty under LVMH.
Oh, yeah, that was huge. Not just for Rihanna, but for the whole fashion industry. I mean, it was the first time LVMH launched a brand from scratch since Christian Lacroix back in '87. That shows you how much they believed in her.
And it was important for diversity and representation in high fashion. She was the first woman of color to lead an LVMH brand. And she used that to challenge the norms, to promote inclusivity.
Absolutely. Her designs were bold, edgy, and unapologetically diverse, just like her.
I remember when Fenty launched, it was this pop-up store in Paris, and everyone was buzzing about it.
So different from the usual fashion calendar. It showed she was going to do things her way, not playing by the rules, making her own.
And the clothes were amazing. The tailoring, the fabrics, the little details. It was clear she had a real vision for the brand.
It was high fashion mixed with streetwear, luxury that felt accessible, classic, and modern all at once. Pure Rihanna.
But then, the Fenty fashion line was put on hold in 2021. What happened?
Well, COVID obviously played a role. It messed up the entire industry, and it was tough to keep up a luxury brand that depended on physical stores and big runway shows.
Yeah, bad timing for sure. Fenty was just getting going, and then the pandemic hit.
But I think there's more to it than that. The luxury market is so competitive, it's hard to break through, even with someone like Rihanna.
And she's got so much going on already. The music, the other businesses, her family. Maybe it was just too much to handle at once.
Could be. But I wouldn't be surprised to see her back in high fashion someday. She got a great eye for design, she understands branding, and her fans would love whatever she creates.
Okay, so we've talked about Fenty fashion. Now let's talk about Fenty Beauty and its impact on the beauty industry.
Ugh. Fenty Beauty. A real game changer. We talked about the 40 foundation shades at launch, challenging the industry's narrow standards of beauty, celebrating inclusivity right out of the gate.
It was a big moment, not just for her, but for the whole industry. It made other brands rethink what they were offering, expand their shade ranges to be more inclusive.
It wasn't just about building a brand, it changed the whole conversation about a diversity and representation in beauty.
Right. And it's not just about the foundation. Fenty Beauty has consistently released innovative products that work for all different skin tones and types, showing that inclusivity can be profitable and impactful at the same time.
And don't forget the marketing. They're amazing at using social media to build that community and get people excited about their products.
They've created this sense of belonging, a place where people feel seen and celebrated for who they are. It's more than just makeup, it's a movement.
And Rihanna being so involved in the brand is a big part of that success. It's not just her endorsing something, she's part of developing the products, the campaigns, the whole vision.
You can tell she's passionate about it. And it works. People know she's not just slapping her name on something, she cares about making it great.
And it's been massively successful. Fenty Beauty has made hundreds of millions of dollars. It's made her a real beauty mogul.
It really shows the power of inclusivity, authenticity, and having a strong brand identity. Fenty Beauty has proven that you can do well and do good at the same time. And it's inspired tons of other brands to do the same.
It's a legacy project, and she can be super proud of it. She hasn't just changed the beauty industry, she's changed how we think about beauty itself.
Okay, so we've covered Fenty Beauty. Now let's talk about savagexfenty, her lingerie line. What makes this brand so special?
Well, like Fenty Beauty, it's all about inclusivity and challenging the norms. She's made a lingerie brand that celebrates all body types, all sizes. It's all about body positivity and self-love.
Those runway shows are amazing, right? It's a real celebration of diversity, all shapes, sizes, ethnicities, gender identities, totally different from those old Victoria's Secret shows, which had such a narrow standard of beauty.
Exactly. She's reclaiming what lingerie is supposed to be, moving away from those hyper-sexualized images that no one can live up to, and showing a vision of femininity that's more realistic and empowering.
And the designs are great, sexy, comfortable, stylish. There's something for everyone.
And it's accessible. savagexfenty has a wide range of sizes and price points. It makes luxury lingerie available to more people.
It's another example of her business smarts. She saw a gap in the market, a need for lingerie that celebrates diversity and inclusivity, and she filled it with a brand that's aspirational, but you can actually get your hands on it.
And it's working. savagexfenty is a huge commercial success. It's brought in millions of dollars, and it's solidified her status as a fashion icon and a business mogul.
It's another example of her ability to connect with people on that emotional level. She's not just selling lingerie, she's selling confidence, empowerment, self-love.
And she's doing it all while challenging the status quo and promoting a more inclusive vision of beauty. That's a powerful message, and people are definitely responding to it.
Okay, so we talked about savagexfenty. Now let's get into something we haven't touched on much yet. Her acting roles. She's been in some memorable movies. Battleship, Home, Valerian, and The City of a Thousand Planets, Ocean's 8. What do you think about her acting?
Well, I don't think her acting career is as successful as her music or her businesses, but she's definitely got talent. And she's charismatic on screen.
Yeah, I agree. She takes on challenging roles, and she's got a natural presence that you can't deny.
She was good in Battleship, playing Petty Officer Cora Rakes. She handled the action scenes well, and she was convincing as a tough character. And her voice work in Home, playing Tip, was really charming.
I thought she was great in Bates Motel, playing Marion Crane. She brought something new to that classic character, and she was really good alongside Vera Farmiga and Freddie Highmore.
That role let her show off her dramatic range and her ability to portray real emotional depth. It was different from her more glamorous image, and it proved that she can handle complex roles.
I wouldn't say she's going to win an Oscar anytime soon, but she could definitely build a solid acting career if she wanted to.
With her star power and her charisma, I'm sure she could find some interesting projects.
All right, let's get back to her music for a minute. One thing that's always struck me is how much global appeal she has. She's got fans all over the world. Her music crosses cultural boundaries.
Right.
Why do you think that is?
I think it's partly because she blends genres so well. She pulls inspiration from Caribbean music, hip-hop, pop, R&B, even rock, It creates this unique sound that appeals to a wide range of tastes.
And her music is just catchy. It makes you want to dance. It's got that rhythm and groove that's infectious.
And her lyrics, while they're often personal and introspective, are also relatable. She sings about love, heartbreak, ambition, self-discovery. Those are themes that resonate with people everywhere.
I think her music videos are a big part of it, too. They're visually stunning, like mini-movies. They push the boundaries of creativity.
And they're often set in really cool locations all over the world, showing off different cultures and landscapes.
That's a smart move. It helps her connect with fans on a visual level, and it broadens her appeal beyond just Western audiences.
And of course, there's her charisma. She's just magnetic. It goes beyond language. She's confident, she's sexy, she's talented, and she's got an amazing smile. It's hard not to be drawn to her.
She's also been smart about her collaborations. From working with huge stars like Shakira and David Guetta to collaborating with up-and-coming artists from different genres and cultures, she's always expanding her reach.
Yeah, that's a great way to stay relevant, to keep her sound fresh, and to connect with new fans all over the world.
Okay, we've talked about her global appeal, her acting, her lingerie line, her beauty empire, her philanthropy, her Caribbean heritage, and her relationship with her fans. We've covered a lot, but before we wrap things up, I want to touch on one more thing. Her entrepreneurial spirit. What makes her such a successful businesswoman?
Well, as we've been talking about, she's got this combination of qualities that make her a real force in business. She sees trends, she understands her audience, and she's great at creating products and experiences that connect with people on an emotional level.
And she's driven, hardworking, always pushing for the best. She's not afraid of risks, of challenging conventions, of pushing boundaries.
And she's got a great team around her, people who share her vision and help make it all real. She's a leader, she collaborates, and she knows how to delegate.
And she's not afraid to fail. She's willing to try things, learn from her mistakes, and change direction when she needs to.
Yeah, like her decision to put Fenty fashion on hold with LVMH, that was tough, but it was strategic. It let her focus on her other businesses that were doing really well.
And it shows that even the most successful entrepreneurs have challenges and setbacks. It's how they deal with those challenges that makes them successful in the end.
That's right. Her resilience, her ability to adapt, and her willingness to learn from her experiences are all key factors in her success.
And don't forget her passion. She's excited about the brand she creates, and you can feel that enthusiasm. It inspires her team, it resonates with her fans, and it ultimately leads to success.
She's not just building businesses, she's building legacies. She's creating brands that are not just profitable, they're impactful. They challenge the norm, they promote inclusivity, and they're making a positive difference in the world.
Okay, so we've talked about her entrepreneurial spirit, her willingness to take risks, her adaptability, her passion, and her ability to build strong teams and partnerships. But there's one more thing that I think is crucial: her authenticity.
Definitely. She's unapologetically herself, and that's a huge part of her appeal. She's not afraid to show her vulnerable side, to speak her mind, to challenge the way things are.
And that's what makes her so relatable and inspiring. She's not just some untouchable celebrity. She's a real person who's been through ups and downs, made mistakes, learned from her experiences, and come out stronger.
And she's never lost sight of what's important to her. She uses her platform to promote inclusivity, diversity, and social justice. She's not just building businesses, she's building a better world.
And that's a powerful message. It resonates with people all over the world, and it's one of the reasons she's been so successful.
She's a true inspiration, and she's a reminder that you can achieve anything if you believe in yourself, work hard, and stay true to who you are.
Okay, so we've looked at her incredible career from every angle. Her music, her businesses, her philanthropy, her acting, her impact on music and fashion, her Caribbean heritage, her relationship with her fans, and her entrepreneurial spirit. It's clear she's a multi-talented force, a true icon of our time. But I'm curious, from all the sources we've looked at, what stands out to you as the most significant part of her legacy?
Wow, that's a tough one. She's accomplished so much and her impact is huge. But I think ultimately her most important legacy will be her ability to inspire people, especially women and people of color, to dream big, to believe in themselves, and to never give up on their goals.
She's broken barriers, challenged conventions, and redefined what it means to be a successful woman in the 21st century. She's shown that you can be a talented artist, a savvy businesswoman, a generous philanthropist, and a proud representative of your culture, all at the same time.
And she does it all with style, grace, and a great sense of humor. She's not afraid to be herself, to have fun, and to embrace the joy in life.
It's that authenticity that makes her so magnetic. People are drawn to her not just because of her talent or her success, but because of who she is as a person.
Exactly. She's relatable, she's inspiring, and she makes you believe that anything is possible.
And her influence goes way beyond her own career. She's paved the way for other artists, especially women and artists of color, to take control of their careers, build their own empires, and use their platforms to do good.
It's a legacy that will continue to inspire and empower generations to come.
Now let's focus on something more specific. We talked about her impact on the beauty industry overall, but one thing that really stands out is her use of influencer marketing.
Oh yeah, for sure. It's not just about hiring big-name celebrities. It's about finding influencers who really align with the brand's values and aesthetic.
Fenty Beauty has been brilliant at this. They've worked with so many different influencers, from beauty bloggers to YouTubers to Instagram stars, each with their own unique voice and audience.
And it's not just about promoting products. It's about creating a community. These influencers become ambassadors for the brand, sharing their personal experiences with Fenty Beauty and connecting with their followers in a way that feels real.
It's been so successful for them. It's allowed them to reach a huge audience and build a really loyal following. It's like the perfect example of how to do influencer marketing right.
And it's not just about throwing money at influencers. It's about finding the right people, building real relationships, and creating content that feels authentic and engaging.
Exactly. It's about creating a win-win situation for the brand, the influencer, and the customer, who gets to discover new products and connect with people who share their values.
Now let's talk about another part of her business smarts: market segmentation.
This is so important, and it often gets overlooked. Rihanna and her team really understand their target demographics. They tailor their brands and their marketing to resonate with specific groups of people.
Like savagexfenty, with its focus on inclusivity and diverse representation, appeals to a much wider range of women than traditional lingerie brands.
Right. They're not trying to be everything to everyone. They're focused on connecting with those who feel like they're not being served by the brands that are already out there.
It's a smart way to build a loyal following and create a strong brand identity.
And it shows a real commitment to inclusivity, which is something that a lot of consumers are looking for in brands today.
Now, let's talk about one of the most impressive parts of her career: her philanthropy through the Clara Lionel Foundation.
Like we said earlier, this foundation, named after her grandparents, started with healthcare in Barbados. But it's grown to have a much bigger mission, especially with its focus on climate justice and making the Caribbean more resilient.
It's amazing how she's used her platform to bring attention to these issues and to get resources to communities that are on the front lines of climate change.
One thing I find really interesting is their focus on intersectionality. They get that climate change disproportionately affects marginalized communities, especially in the Caribbean. And they focus on supporting organizations that are led by women, youth, LGBTQ+ folks, and people of color.
It's about addressing the root causes of climate injustice and giving power to the people who are most affected to lead the way in finding solutions.
And it's not just about money. It's about building long-term partnerships, fostering collaboration, and amplifying the voices of those who are often ignored.
It's work that really makes a difference, and it shows how dedicated she is to making the world a better place.
Her philanthropy isn't just something she does on the side. It's a core part of who she is and how she uses her influence and her resources.
It's a powerful reminder that we can all make a difference no matter where we come from or how successful we are.
Now, let's switch gears for a minute and share a cool anecdote from one of our sources. Did you know that early on in her career, she was really good at spotting talent?
Oh, yeah, I remember reading about that. She was working as an A&R rep, basically scouting and developing new artists.
Right. She had a knack for finding raw talent and helping it grow, even back then. One music executive even said that he would have hired her as an A&R person based on her skills alone.
That's incredible. It shows how much she understood music, how well she connected with artists, and that she had a natural business sense even then.
She wasn't just thinking about her own success. She was already thinking about how to help other artists, even when she was just starting out.
It shows her collaborative spirit and her passion for music.
And it's interesting how that parallels to what she's doing now as a businesswoman and entrepreneur. She's still in the business of nurturing talent, whether it's through her record label, her fashion lines, or her beauty brand.
It's all about creating platforms and opportunities for others to succeed, and it reflects her generosity and her commitment to empowering people.
Now, let's think about something that a lot of people wonder about. How has she stayed successful for so long in an industry that's constantly changing?
That's a great question. In an industry where trends come and go and artists often fade away, she's managed to stay relevant and influential for over a decade. How has she done it?
Well, I think one big reason is that she's always evolving. She's not afraid to experiment, to push boundaries, and to reinvent herself.
From her music to her fashion to her business ventures, she's always ahead of the game, anticipating trends and creating new ones.
And she's really strategic about the choices she makes. She knows when to take risks, when to collaborate, and when to step back and let her team take the lead.
She's also really smart about branding and marketing. She understands how to build a strong brand, how to create a loyal following, and how to use social media to connect with her audience.
And let's not forget her work ethic. She's incredibly driven, she works hard, and she's always pushing for the best. She's not content to just sit back and relax. She's always looking for new challenges and new ways to grow her empire.
Her drive to succeed is amazing.
Now let's take a closer look at one specific impact she's had that's often overlooked. How she's helped to change beauty standards and promote inclusivity.
Absolutely. This is a big part of her legacy, especially with Fenty Beauty. She challenged the beauty industry's very narrow definition of beauty, which had always favored lighter skin tones and Eurocentric features.
Exactly. By launching a foundation with 40 shades, she sent a powerful message. Beauty comes in all colors, and everyone deserves to feel seen and celebrated.
And it wasn't just about the product itself, it was the whole marketing campaign, which featured models of all different ethnicities, ages, and body types.
It was a celebration of diversity and inclusivity, and it resonated with people who had never felt represented by the beauty industry before.
It made other brands change what they were doing and offer more shades to be more inclusive. It really changed things.
And it's had a lasting impact. The beauty industry is still evolving, but Rihanna's role in changing the conversation around inclusivity is undeniable.
She's made a real difference for so many women and girls who now feel more confident and empowered to embrace their own unique beauty.
It's a legacy that will continue to inspire for a long time.
Now, let's talk about a more recent event in her career, her Super Bowl halftime performance in 2023. It was a big cultural moment, and it got people talking about how her artistry has evolved and where she stands among the pop icons.
Oh yeah, that Super Bowl performance was amazing. It was a celebration of her music, her style, her Caribbean heritage, and millions of people around the world watched it.
And it was a great reminder of what an incredible stage presence she has and how she can command an audience. She's a natural performer, and she knows how to create a show that people will never forget.
The performance also had some subtle but powerful messaging. The all-female dance crew, the focus on Black excellence, and the nod to her pregnancy with her second child all contributed to a performance that was both entertaining and thought-provoking.
It was a perfect example of how to use a platform like the Super Bowl to make a statement and to celebrate diversity and empowerment.
And it got people talking about how she's grown as an artist and her legacy as a pop icon. Some people thought that she's moved away from her earlier, more rebellious image, while others were happy that she was embracing motherhood and showing a more mature and introspective side of herself.
I think it shows how she's growing as an artist and as a person. She's not afraid to evolve, to experiment, and to defy expectations. She's always pushing boundaries, and she doesn't want to be put into any one box.
And that's what makes her so fascinating. She's always challenging herself and her audience, and she's never afraid to surprise us.
Okay, so we've talked about her Super Bowl performance. Now let's talk about something that a lot of fans have been waiting for. Her new album, which is supposedly called R9. It's like this mythical thing in the music world. Fans can't wait, and everyone's guessing what it'll sound like, what direction she's going in.
And she's been dropping these hints, teasing us with little bits of music forever. It's amazing how she keeps the buzz going.
She knows how to get people talking. Marketing genius.
Okay, but based on what we know about her music, how it's evolved, and what she's interested in now, what do you think R9 will be like?
It's tough to say for sure. She loves to experiment, mix genres. That's always been her thing. But from her recent stuff, the collaborations, some interviews, I think we might hear her go back to her Caribbean roots.
That would be awesome. You can tell she loves dancehall and reggae. It would be cool to see her really dive into those sounds on a new album.
And it makes sense timing-wise, too. Caribbean music and culture are having this moment globally. She's always been ahead of the trend, so I wouldn't be surprised if she dropped something that's both totally new and culturally relevant.
Do you think she'll talk about being a mom on the album?
I wonder. It's clearly been a huge change for her. It would be interesting to hear how she reflects on that through her music.
It would add a new dimension to her work, and it would connect with so many of her fans who are going through parenthood, too.
I also wonder if there'll be any political or social commentary. She's been more vocal about things like racial justice and climate change. It would be powerful to hear her take on those issues in her music.
Absolutely. She's got such a huge platform, and she's not afraid to use it to speak up for change.
But honestly, the most exciting thing about R9 is the mystery. She's such a creative force, and we know it'll be unique, unexpected, and unforgettable.
Can't wait.
So, back to something we've been talking about throughout this deep dive, Rihanna's commitment to being authentic. It's incredible how she stayed true to herself through all this, with all the pressure of being a global superstar.
It really shows how strong she is, how much she believes in herself and what she wants to do. She's never been afraid to be herself, speak her mind, challenge the norms.
And that's why her fans love her. They see her as real, relatable, inspiring, and totally herself.
And it's refreshing, in a world where so many celebrities seem fake or obsessed with their image.
It's a reminder that you don't have to be perfect to be successful or make a difference. Embrace who you are, and don't be afraid to show your true self.
Let's talk about her collaborations. They've been a big part of her global appeal.
Legendary collaborations, some of the biggest names in music from so many different genres.
It shows how versatile she is and how well she connects with musicians from all these different creative worlds.
From Jay-Z and Eminem early on to Drake, Calvin Harris, Shakira more recently, she's always pushing those boundaries, creating music that breaks down genres and cultures.
Smart strategy, too. It helps her reach new fans, keep her sound fresh, stay relevant in an industry that's always changing.
And it's never just a feature, it's a real creative partnership.
Yeah.
The music is innovative and commercially successful.
It shows her collaborative spirit and how she brings out the best in other artists. Let's talk about her fashion. She's a style icon, known for her bold looks, but she's also been criticized for pushing the envelope.
Totally. Her style is a reflection of her personality, her confidence. She's never afraid to try things, take risks, make a statement with what she wears.
And she's always setting trends, influencing the fashion world with her unique style.
From those amazing red carpet gowns to her streetwear looks, she's always challenged the idea of what's appropriate or fashionable.
And she's always stayed true to herself, her own personal style.
Exactly. She's not following trends, she's making them. She's not trying to please everyone, she's expressing herself, and that's what makes her style so powerful.
It's inspired so many women to embrace their own individuality and express themselves through fashion.
It reminds us that fashion can be a way to express yourself, and you should never be afraid to try new things, take risks, and have fun with it.
Now, what about her impact on pop culture in general?
Oh, it's massive. She's an icon, and her impact goes way beyond music and fashion.
She's changed the conversation about beauty standards. She's challenged gender norms. She's given a voice to marginalized communities. And she's inspired a whole generation to be themselves and go after their dreams.
Her impact is huge and complex, and it's still happening.
But one thing's for sure. She's made a mark on our culture that will be talked about for years to come.
Okay, let's lighten things up. What about her social media? It's hilarious and so relatable.
Oh, she's amazing at social media. She really connects with her fans.
She's not afraid to be silly, to share what she's thinking and feeling, and to poke fun at herself.
And she's so funny. Her tweets and Instagram posts are hilarious, self-deprecating, and so relatable.
It's so different from most celebrities who seem all polished and perfect on social media.
She makes you feel like you're seeing the real her, and that's what makes her so engaging.
And it's smart business, too. By being relatable and authentic on social media, she builds a stronger connection with her fans and promotes her brands in a way that feels natural.
Everyone wins.
Now, let's talk about how she built her business empire. She's so smart and savvy.
It's amazing how she's used her fame and her talent to create successful businesses in so many different industries.
She's a true entrepreneur. She sees what's trending, she knows her audience, and she's great at creating products and experiences that people connect with emotionally.
And she's not just putting her name on things. She's involved in developing the products, the marketing, the whole vision for each brand.
She works hard, she's driven, and she's got a great team that shares her vision and helps make it all happen.
Her entrepreneurial journey shows how smart and ambitious she is, and how determined she is to succeed on her own terms.
She's an inspiration to anyone who wants to start a business, proving that you can be successful while staying true to yourself and your creative vision.
Now let's talk about her impact on the music industry. Some people say she revolutionized it, while others say she's just a product of the system. What do you think?
It's complicated, but there's no doubt that she's had a huge impact on the music industry.
She's broken records, won so many awards, and pushed boundaries with her sound, her style, and her image.
And she's challenged the norms, embraced diversity, and used her platform to support those who don't usually have a voice.
She's inspired so many young artists, especially women and artists of color, to follow their dreams and make music that's true to themselves.
And she's shown that you can be successful commercially and still be artistically innovative to appeal to a global audience while staying true to your roots.
Her influence is huge and wide-ranging, and it will be felt for a long time.
Now let's talk about something that's been a big part of her life, both good and bad. Her relationship with Chris Brown.
It's a tough topic, but it's something we can't ignore when we talk about her.
The domestic violence incident in 2009 was a turning point for both of them, and it sparked a lot of discussion about accountability, forgiveness, and how complicated relationships can be.
It also brought attention to how common domestic violence is and the challenges that survivors face.
People had mixed reactions to her decision to reconcile with Chris Brown and their collaborations afterward. Some people praised her for being forgiving, while others thought she was sending the wrong message about domestic violence.
It reminds us that personal relationships are messy and that there are no easy answers.
And it reminds us that we all make mistakes, and forgiveness is a personal choice.
But I think the most important thing to take away from this is her resilience and her strength. She's overcome so much, and she's come out of it as a stronger, more empowered woman.
She's spoken out against domestic violence, and she's become a role model for survivors all over the world.
Her story shows how strong the human spirit is and how we can heal, grow, and overcome even the toughest challenges.
Let's talk about something that's important to both her and her fans. Her Barbadian heritage and how much she loves her home country.
Her connection to Barbados is woven into her music, her style, her philanthropy, everything.
She's a proud representative of Barbados, and she's always celebrating its culture, its beauty, and its people.
You hear it in her music, the Caribbean rhythms and melodies. You see it in her fashion choices, the bright colors and bold patterns of Barbadian culture.
And her work with the Clara Lionel Foundation shows her commitment to making life better for people in Barbados and the Caribbean.
She's a true patriot. Her love for Barbados is clear in everything she does.
Now, let's talk about something that people are always curious about. Her love life.
Yeah, her relationships have always been in the news.
From her relationships with Chris Brown and Drake to her current relationship with A.P. Rocky, she's never been shy about being in love and sharing her relationships publicly.
And her fans have always been there for her, supporting her and wanting her to be happy.
Everyone was so excited when she became a mother with A.P. Rocky. They're all rooting for her as she starts this new chapter in her life.
It's a reminder that even the biggest stars are human. They have hearts and feelings, and love and family are things that connect us all.
Now let's talk about another key to her success. Social media. She's amazing at connecting with her fans online.
She's a social media queen, millions of followers. And she knows how to use those platforms to build her brand, promote her work, and connect with her fans in a real way.
She's always posting, sharing bits of her life, her creative process, her thoughts and feelings on all sorts of things.
And she's not afraid to be vulnerable, to show that she's not perfect, and to talk to her fans like they're real people.
She's also super funny. She uses humor and makes fun of herself, which makes her followers feel like they're in on the joke.
Her social media is a great example of how to build a loyal following and create a community.
It shows how powerful social media can be. It can be used to connect with people, share your story, and build a brand that's real and engaging.
So we've talked about her love life, her Barbadian heritage, her relationship with Chris Brown, her impact on the music industry, her amazing use of social media, her business skills, her funny online personality, her fashion choices, her commitment to authenticity, her collaborations, and her philanthropy. We've covered a lot, but is there anything else about her career or her impact on the world that really stands out to you?
You know, what I find really interesting is how she goes beyond all the usual categories. She's not just a musician, a businesswoman, a philanthropist, a fashion icon. She's all of those things and more.
She's exceeded expectations, broken down barriers, and created her own path to success.
She's one of a kind, a force of nature, and an inspiration to everyone.
Absolutely. She shows us that we don't have to limit ourselves. We can be multifaceted, complex, and always growing.
And we can use our talents, our passions, and our influence to make the world a better place.
So, thinking about everything we've learned about Rihanna's journey, what do you think is the most important thing for achieving success, no matter what you do? What allows someone to excel in music, business, philanthropy, and life itself? Is it talent, dedication, authenticity, or something else entirely?
That's something to think about as we wrap up our deep dive into the world of Rihanna. We hope you've enjoyed exploring her amazing career and her lasting impact. See you next time for another deep dive.